False flag operations have been used to manipulate and deceive throughout history, often with devastating results. In this video, we will see 10 of the most infamous false flag events that changed the course of global politics. Get ready to uncover the dark secrets behind these covert operations. The Reichstag fire and its geopolitical impact. 1933. The Reichstag fire, which occurred on February 27, 1933, was a key event in German history. The fire engulfed the Reichstag building, a symbol of democracy in Germany, and led to the arrest of Marinus van der Lubbe, a Dutch communist. Though it's still debated whether the Nazis orchestrated the fire or simply took advantage of it, what's clear is how they used it to further their agenda. Adolf Hitler, who had just become chancellor, and his associates portrayed the fire as part of a communist uprising. This stirred fear among the German people, allowing Hitler to push for the Reichstag fire decree, which suspended civil liberties such as freedom of speech and the press. The decree gave the Nazis the power to crush political opposition, resulting in mass arrests of communists and others they deemed enemies. These actions set the stage for the more widespread persecution that followed in the coming years. The fire and the Nazis' swift response marked a turning point in German politics, paving the way for their totalitarian regime. It also influenced global geopolitics as the Nazis pursued aggressive expansionist policies that would lead to World War II. The Reichstag fire serves as a stark reminder of how fear can be manipulated to dismantle democracy and highlights the importance of protecting democratic institutions and values. German invasion of Poland, 1939. The night before Germany invaded Poland, 7 German SS soldiers, disguised as Polish soldiers, stormed the Gliwice radio tower on the German side of the border. They broadcast a brief message claiming that the station was now under Polish control. To make the attack seem genuine, the soldiers left behind the body of a civilian, dressed as a Polish soldier, to suggest he had been killed during the raid. This staged event, known as the Gliwice incident, was part of a larger series of false flag operations orchestrated by the Nazis, known as Operation Himmler, to create the illusion of Polish aggression. The following day, Adolf Hitler referenced the Gliwice attack, along with other fabricated incidents, in a speech to justify Germany's invasion of Poland, marking the start of World War II. Outbreak of Russo-Finnish War, 1939. In the same year, the Russian village of Manila was reportedly shelled near the Finnish border. The Soviet Union used this alleged attack as a reason to break its non-aggression pact with Finland, leading to the start of the Winter War. Historians have since determined that the shelling was not done by the Finnish army, but was a fabrication orchestrated by the Soviet NKVD state security agency to create a pretext for invasion. This deceptive tactic allowed the Soviets to portray themselves as victims rather than aggressors. In 1994, Boris Yeltsin, the first president of the Russian Federation, acknowledged that the Winter War was, in fact, a Soviet war of aggression, recognizing the falsehoods that had justified the conflict and the suffering it had caused to both nations. The Levin Affair. Espionage in the Middle East, 1954. The Levin Affair, also known as Operation Susanna, was a secret operation carried out by Israeli agents in the 1950s. The plan aimed to sabotage Western interests in Egypt by bombing civilian targets like movie theaters and post offices. The goal was to make it look like Egyptian nationalists or Islamists were responsible, creating instability in Egypt and ensuring that British forces remained in control of the vital Suez Canal. However, the operation failed when one of the bombs went off prematurely, leading to the arrest of an operative. Under interrogation, more details were revealed, and the entire network was exposed. In response, the Egyptian government cracked down on the Jewish community, resulting in arrests and increased persecution. This also led to many Jews fleeing Egypt. The Levin Affair had a significant impact on Israel's internal politics and its relationships with other countries in the Middle East and beyond. It remains one of the most controversial covert operations in espionage history. Gulf of Tonkin Incident, 1964. On August 2, 1964, a sea battle took place between a U.S. destroyer and North Vietnamese torpedo boats in the Gulf of Tonkin. Both sides sustained damage, and the North Vietnamese suffered casualties. 2 days later, the U.S. claimed there was another similar attack, but it's now believed that the second attack never actually happened. The captain of the U.S. destroyer initially reported being attacked again, but later admitted that bad weather and low visibility made it unclear. Declassified documents from 2005 suggest that the North Vietnamese were likely trying to salvage their damaged boats from the first battle, not attacking the U.S. ship. Despite the uncertainty, President Lyndon B. Johnson presented the incidents to Congress as 2 unprovoked attacks by North Vietnam. This led to the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, which gave Johnson the authority to launch bombing raids on North Vietnam and significantly escalate U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. Russia again accuses Ukraine of planning false flag attack 2013. In early 2023, Russia accused Ukraine of planning to stage a nuclear incident to blame Moscow, just before a major United Nations meeting. Russia's defense ministry claimed that radioactive materials had been brought into Ukraine from Europe for a large-scale provocation. They alleged that Ukraine wanted to accuse Russia of striking radioactive facilities, causing dangerous contamination. However, no evidence was provided, and no such attack occurred. Ukraine and its allies dismissed these claims as disinformation, accusing Russia of attempting to shift blame for incidents it might be planning. These accusations came amid Ukraine's push to secure F-16 fighter jets from the United States to improve their military capabilities against Russian forces. Ukrainian officials made this request during meetings with U.S. politicians at the Munich Security Conference. Despite the lobbying, President Biden had declined Ukraine's request for F-16s earlier that month. Little Green Men in Crimea, 2014. In the early days of Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014, armed men appeared on the streets, dressed like Russian soldiers but without any official insignia. The Kremlin insisted these were local self-defense groups wanting Crimea to return to Russian control, claiming they had bought their uniforms and equipment from shops. Locals in Crimea called them Little Green Men due to their green uniforms and mysterious origins, while Russian journalists dubbed them Polite Men because of their calm demeanor. These figures played a significant role in the swift takeover of Crimea, effectively seizing key infrastructure and government buildings with little resistance. Despite Russia's denial of direct military involvement, evidence later confirmed that these Little Green Men were, in fact, Russian special forces, instrumental in the annexation that escalated tensions between Russia and the West. Kashmir Border, 2020. India and Pakistan have a long history of accusing each other of false flag attacks along the disputed Kashmir border to provoke military conflict. In 2020, Pakistan's foreign ministry accused Indian troops of firing on a vehicle carrying UN observers on Pakistan's side of the border. Pakistan claimed that India aimed to create tension between Pakistan and the international community. Prime Minister Imran Khan called the incident reckless. India denied the accusation, arguing that Pakistan was failing to secure its side of the border. This exchange of blame is part of the ongoing tension between the two countries over the Kashmir region. Russia planning false flag operation at nuclear power plant. Kyiv 2024. Ukraine's military has accused Russian forces of planning a false flag operation at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, Europe's largest, which is located in the southern Ukrainian city of Enerhodar. According to Ukrainian intelligence, Russia intends to stage an incident at the plant and blame Ukraine for it. This accusation follows a drone strike at the facility, raising fears of a potential nuclear accident due to the ongoing conflict. The Zaporizhzhia plant, which is under Russian control, has been at the center of fighting for over 2 years. Both Russia and Ukraine have blamed each other for recent drone strikes and shelling near the site. The International Atomic Energy Agency expressed concern over these reckless attacks, warning that they increase the risk of a nuclear disaster, though no critical damage has been reported so far. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed uncovering these hidden plots and historical twists, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for future content. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let us know which false flag operation surprised you the most.